There is a famous line from Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner and one of the sharpest investing minds who ever lived, and he did not sugarcoat it. He said the first $100,000 is the hardest and you just have to grind it out, no way around it. And here is the wild part. He was completely right, and the math proves it. Because there is this strange thing about money that nobody warns you about when you're starting out. Getting from zero to your first $100,000 is genuinely brutal. But getting from $100,000 to $1 million? That part is actually easier. It sounds totally backwards, right? 0 to 100 grand is 100 grand. 100 grand to $1 million is another 900,000 on top. So why do the people who have actually done it all say the first 100 was the hard part? Let me show you, because once you understand this, the whole game changes. First, let's be real about how hard that first 100 grand actually is. Picture yourself just saving, no investing yet. Put away $100 a month and reaching 100,000 takes you around 80 years. 80. Bump it to 250 a month and you're still looking at over 30 years. 500 a month gets you there in about 17 years. 1,000 a month, roughly 8 years, and to do it in 4 years, you would need to be socking away $2,000 every single month. Now think about an average Canadian paycheck, and rent and groceries and everything else. For most people, finding even 500 a month is a real stretch, so building 100 grand means years of saying no. Years of watching friends upgrade the car and post the vacation photos while you keep your head down and keep stacking it away quietly. And that, right there, is exactly why it matters so much. Because most people never actually do it. Most people say they want to be financially free, and then that is where it stops, as a nice idea. They never grind through the boring, repetitive, kind of painful early part. Not because they cannot, but because in the beginning it feels like nothing is happening. So if you get yourself to $100,000, you have proven something real about yourself. You have shown you can delay a reward, stick to a plan, and keep going when it is not fun yet. That discipline is the actual prize hiding inside the number. So where should you put this money while you build it? For a lot of Canadians, a powerful place to start is your RRSP, and here's why I love it for this. When you contribute to your RRSP, you get a tax deduction, which usually means a refund at tax time. And here's the move most people miss. You take that refund, and instead of blowing it, you reinvest it right back into your RRSP or your TFSA. So the government is basically chipping in to help you build your pot faster. Contribute, get a refund, reinvest the refund, repeat. Before your money has grown a single dollar, it has already gotten a boost. Now your TFSA is the other big tool, and it is beautifully flexible and completely tax-free, so for a lot of people the sweet spot is using both. Here's a rough rule of thumb to keep it simple. If you are a lower or middle earner, lean on your TFSA first because you get the tax-free growth without locking anything down. If you are in a higher tax bracket, the RRSP deduction is worth more to you, so that one often comes first. Either way, that RRSP refund trick is a genuine accelerator, so do not sleep on it. Okay, so let's say you do this month after month into a simple low-cost index fund or ETF. Here's what the journey actually feels like, because this part trips everybody up. In year 1, honestly, not much seems to happen. You are contributing every month and the growth on top is tiny. If the market has a rough stretch, your account might even be showing red. Year 2, year 3, still not a lot to get excited about. And this right here is what I call the valley of despair. It is the gap between how fast you hoped this would grow and how slowly it actually does at the start. And this is the exact spot where most people give up and say this is not working. But if you just keep going, something amazing happens. Around year 5, the growth your account earns in a year starts to outrun what you are even contributing. Your money is now pulling its own weight, and then you cross that first 100,000 and the whole thing changes character. Because from there, compounding really takes over. That next 100,000 shows up faster than the first one did. And the one after that, faster still. Here's the math that makes it click. A modest return on a small balance is pocket change. But that same percentage return on $100,000 is thousands of dollars a year, landing on top without you lifting a finger. And then next year, you earn a return on that bigger number too. It stacks on itself over and over, and the snowball starts rolling downhill on its own. Here's the part that genuinely surprises people. Imagine you got to 100,000 and then stopped contributing completely. Not another dollar. Left alone at a reasonable long-run return, that pot can roughly double over the next decade or so and keep snowballing from there, all by itself. Now ask yourself, is your salary going to double over the next 10 years for doing nothing? Not a chance, but invested money can, and that is the entire point. Your paycheck is capped by the hours in your day, your investments are not. Now, one more thing about the RRSP that is secretly a strength: you cannot just yank money out of it whenever you feel like it without a cost. Pull money out early and it gets taxed as income and you permanently lose that contribution room. Sounds like a downside, right? But here is the sneaky upside. That friction stops you from rating your own future for an impulse purchase. It quietly nudges you into being a long-term investor, which is exactly what makes compounding work. If you want more flexibility alongside it, that is what your TFSA is for, tax-free, and you can access it whenever you need. For most people, a mix of both is the real sweet spot. And please do not fall for the idea that you need some big pile of cash to start. You really do not. The daily coffee, the streaming services you forgot you were paying for, a couple of takeout orders a week, trim a bit of that, automate it into your investments every month, and over the years it becomes a seriously big number. To put a real figure on it, $500 a month, invested steadily at a long-run average return, can grow into several $100,000 over a few decades, and that is before you even count the RRSP refunds you reinvested along the way. Small and consistent beats big and occasional almost every time, and automating it means you never have to rely on willpower. And there is a lovely bit of evidence on your side too. Over the long run, simple low-cost index funds that just track the whole market quietly beat the large majority of expensive funds run by the pros. So you do not need to be a genius. You do not need to pick winners or stare at charts. Buy the whole market, cheaply, keep buying, and leave it alone. These days, you can even do it with a single all-in-one ETF that holds the whole world in one ticket, which makes it about as simple as investing gets. Do that, and you quietly end up ahead of most people who are trying way harder than you. There is one more shift that happens once you have built a bit of a base, and it is more in your head than your bank account. When you have got 100 grand working for you, you start seeing spending differently. That impulse buy suddenly looks like a few more shares of your index fund you are choosing not to own. Investing stops feeling like a chore and starts feeling kind of good, watching that number climb, knowing it is working while you sleep. That shift from spender to owner is worth just as much as the money itself. So let's bring it home. Nobody gets truly wealthy on their paycheck alone because your time and energy run out. There are only so many hours in a day. The way regular Canadians build real wealth is by owning a slice of the whole market and letting it compound. So here's the plan. Get that RRSP refund working for you, or lean on your TFSA, ideally use both. Feed them a simple, cheap index fund. Grit your teeth through the valley of despair when it feels slow, because it will. And aim for that first 100,000, because once you are there, the momentum starts doing more of the work than you do. Just remember, the rules and limits change, so check the current numbers before you start. Alright, last thing. If you are sitting there with almost nothing invested and this feels a long way off, I really want you to hear me. Every single person who got there started exactly where you are right now. So give this a like if it lit a fire under you, subscribe if you want the next step, and go set up one automatic contribution today, even if it is just $25 to get the habit going. Future you is going to be really glad you did. Take care, everybody.